Today we're going to be talking about major and minor scales. We're going to start with the basics of scales, but we're going to use the 1 octave as our example. All 1 octave scales have 8 notes, thus the name octave. Notes ascend and descend in order. That means they go up and down in order. Notes do not repeat, with the exception of the first and the last note of the scale, which will be the same. All scales will follow a specific whole step and half step formula. Now, let's go ahead and look at the major scale formula. W will stand for whole step and H will stand for half step. We have whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Now let's plug this pattern into our musical alphabet and find the D major scale following the pattern. We're going to use a whole step and get to E. Our next is a whole step and we get to F sharp, followed by a half step to G, a whole step to A whole step to B, a whole step to C sharp, and a half step to D. This is why the D major scale has D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D. Thus, the D major key signature has C sharp and F sharp because we follow the major scale pattern. Now, let's go ahead and learn about minor scales. There are 3 types of minor scales: natural, harmonic, and melodic. Let's go ahead and review the various formulas for each minor scale, starting with natural minor. We have whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. If we take this formula and plug it into the musical alphabet, just like we did with the major scale formula, we can find the notes for the natural minor scale. Let's go ahead and review harmonic minor. We have whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step plus half step, ending with half step. The W plus H means that you're going to have a step and a half in that specific spacing, or a whole step plus a half step attached. Now let's look at the melodic minor. Notice that there are 2 different patterns for the melodic minor. One for going up or ascending, and one for going down or descending, other words, when you go backwards. Now going up, we have whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Yes, there are 4 whole steps in a row. Going down, we have whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. Because there are 3 different minor scales and the melodic minor actually has 2 different types of formulas, it can be a little bit challenging at times to remember all the patterns. There is an easier way to go from major to minor. Let's go ahead and review that. If you're familiar with the major key signatures, it will be much easier for you to go to minor. We're going to use the D major scale as our example, and we're going to change the D major scale to the D natural minor scale. To change the D major to a D natural minor, we are going to lower the 3rd, 6th, and 7th scale degrees. Now, if you are not familiar with what scale degrees are, know that scale degrees refer to the number of note on the scale. D is 1, E is 2, F sharp is 3, G is 4, A is 5, B is 6, C sharp is 7, and then back to D, which is the 8th note of the scale. We lowered the 3rd scale degree and made the F sharp into an F. We lowered the 6th scale degree and made the B into a B flat. And we lowered the 7th scale degree and made the C sharp into a C, giving us D, E, F natural, G, A, B flat, C natural, and D for the D natural minor scale. Now let's change the D major scale into a D harmonic minor scale. To do so, we're going to go ahead and also lower some scale degrees, but this time only the 3rd and 6th scale degrees. If you compare it to the natural minor we just reviewed, the 7th is raised in comparison to the natural minor. We're only going to lower the 3rd and 6th scale degrees. In this case, the F sharp became an F, the B became a B flat, and the C sharp stayed as a C sharp because we only needed to lower the 3rd and 6th scale degrees. Now, let's go ahead and convert a major scale into a melodic minor scale. To do so, we have to follow two different patterns. When we go up or ascend, we're going to lower only the third scale degree. If you compare that to the natural minor, the sixth and seventh are raised from the natural minor. We only lower the third scale degree when we are going up or ascending. Now, when we are going down or descending, we will lower the third, the sixth, and the seventh scale degree, which is exactly the same as the natural minor scale. Now let's convert the D major scale to the melodic minor scale. Again, going up, we lower the third, and going down, the third, the sixth, and the seventh. So going up, we're going to lower that third scale degree, which is that F sharp note, which becomes an F natural. That means that all the rest of the notes on the scale stayed exactly the same. Now, when we are going downwards, this will change. I wrote the notes in backwards order so that you would know what order you're actually going to play them. So to go in descending order, we're going to lower the third, the sixth, and the seventh. That means that the F sharp became an F, the B became a B flat, and the C sharp became a C. Now, again, they're written in backwards order because you're going downwards or you're going descending in this particular example. So notice that going up, it's only the third, and going down, it's the third, the sixth, and the seventh. Now let's look at all the scales in comparison to each other. If you notice, the only scale degrees that are affected when you are doing these three minor scales are the third, the sixth, and the seventh. Now, notice that from major to all of the three different minors, including the two different melodic minor patterns, every time the third scale degree was lowered. So remember that the third scale degree is always lowered in every single minor scale that you do. Now, the sixth was lowered most of the time, except when you're doing the melodic minor going up. So the sixth was lowered for the natural minor, the harmonic minor, and the melodic minor going down or descending. The seventh scale degree was only changed in the natural minor and in the melodic minor going down or descending. So again, natural minor and melodic minor descending or down are exactly the same.